Get out of here.
We doing it.
Yeah, we're out. Well, I mean, we're out. That's how we started.
We're out.
Everybody's like, all right, well, I guess we're already doing it.
No, we just started.
Yeah, no. Don't go nowhere. Don't change that dial. That was the name of the song that's playing right now.
Don't change that dial, or don't go anywhere. Or,
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, whatever. On your radio from left to right. That always cracked me up. Like, when they were doing the football broadcast. Like, I listened to a lot of times, I was driving. So, like, Monday Night Football or whatever.
Yeah.
I would be listening to the game. They would be like, oh, on your dial from left to right.
I don't remember that.
It was like, when they did, like, the Monday Night podcast on, like, AM.
Okay.
They may have stopped doing it now.
Yeah.
But a long time ago, like, they would do the, like, say, like, oh, yeah, the Bears are playing against the Chiefs, and the Bears are, in the first quarter are going to be going from left to right on your dial.
Okay. I mean,
giving
I
you an idea of which
yeah.
end zone they're supposed to be going.
Yeah, that's fair. I mean, I don't really need to know.
Yeah, exactly. But that was kind of the idea of trying to make it to where
it's more of a
people had a visual.
Yeah.
Of like, okay, where are they at in the field? And so that way we're like, all right, they're on the 30-yard, they're on the Chiefs 30-yard line. Like, okay, so they're getting towards the red zone.
Yeah.
So yeah, all right, cool. So hopefully, the music, I think we figured out now.
I think we got it.
Hopefully it's quieter for the listeners. Well, I've gone in and edited it. So
edited. That's a tough word.
Sometimes it is, because it's
It.
but it's, EDED.
Yeah.
Right?
Edited.
Yeah, so that's very weird. Fucks with your speaking abilities.
Words are hard.
But, it's louder to us because we thought we needed to turn it down, and come to find out we could barely hear it. Now we can hear it really well.
No, sounds good.
But hopefully I won't have to mess with anything post-production.
Yeah.
I mean, that's ultimately the goal, right?
Yeah. Ideally.
Is
to
to
not
just
fix it in post.
Just know that, like, hey, it's probably good.
Yeah.
Like, maybe like running through it to make sure, like, hey, everything is sounding all right.
Yeah.
And be like, all right, we're good. Bam, load. And just move on. Right?
Well, what episode are we on now, Brian?
This will be episode 3.
Episode 3. And guess what? We had to change the name.
Yeah. So I guess that is one of the more important things we should
probably
talk
bring
about.
that up.
Yeah. And so I think once we get up to so many episodes, I'll probably end up removing the trailer.
Yeah.
And episodes 1 and 2.
Yeah.
But yeah, because
listen to them when you can, folks, because we're rebranding now.
Yeah. Or maybe like those were ones that I'll occasionally upload or whatever.
And we'll go in and like redact it or do some voiceovers and be like,
just make it funny.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But what's the name of our podcast now, Brian?
So it's Poor Decisions. I don't know.
Decisions.
Yeah, you say it better.
Decisions.
Because, I mean, the namesake came from you.
Yeah, right? So for those of you who don't know, the name is actually we are indeed it from Transparent.
Rob and Duplicate.
Yep. So it was a amber lager that we did.
So good. It
was so good. Better than Yingling, in my opinion. That's just me. Maybe a Homer opinion, but that's fine. That's fine. I'll die on that grave, or die on that hill, whatever. So it was one day in the tap room. I just was struggling with the word decisions, and Nolan was there, and I said decisions.
Well, I mean, that's how a lot of our names have happened too.
Yeah. But that's the origin story of our podcast name.
Yeah.
Poor decisions.
When we were trying to brainstorm different ideas, and
there's so many names were taken, man.
Oh, well, and that's the thing. Like, we talked about how easy it is to do a podcast. Well, that's how easy it is. That there's so many other podcasts out there.
Yeah.
And the one that we had was Miscellaneous Debris.
Yeah.
Which is actually
rest in peace.
Yeah. Which
at least our podcast,
our version of it. Yeah. Which is actually a takeoff.
It was the name of a Primus album.
But it was all covers, you said, right?
It was all covers.
And the first song on there was Plans for Nigel.
Yeah.
Which I thought was funny.
Yeah.
But then, and we both looked for it on Spotify.
I don't know how.
And we both somehow missed it. And
you know what I think for what it was is the second time I searched, I actually looked under the podcast tab.
Yeah.
Instead of just like whatever was.
Or filtered out just podcast.
Yeah.
So obviously that podcast must not get a lot of downloads, but it looked like they had been around a long time.
So
I think before COVID, honestly.
Thanks for stealing our name.
before
we even had one.
Or even knew each other. Really.
Yeah. Still.
But poor decisions. Well, then no one's like, well, I want 10% of everything you make. I'm like, what if we don't make anything?
Yeah, 10% of nothing is still nothing.
Yeah. It's like, okay, but if we're spending money to make it, then are you going to pay us 10%?
I think it should finance our beers.
Yeah. I mean, he was doing that for...
I mean, in a way, he kind of is.
Yeah, he kind of is, yeah. He'd be like, fuck you guys. But with that being said, like we are, we talked about this before we started, because we will be drinking beers and talking about the beers.
Uh-huh.
We almost want to start doing like a beer fund and make that to where listeners can contribute, and then we shout them out.
Call it like Go Beer Me instead of GoFundMe. Go Beer Me.
Yeah, or call it How About a Beer?
How about a beer? Is it this one? How about a beer?
Yeah. Oh yeah, Black Dog.
Yeah, I need my cues.
Come here. There you go. All right, go.
There we go.
So that way
I can do a quick glance.
Push buttons. Yeah. Until you have it memorized, and then I'll change it. You'll push the wrong one. The wrong one. God dang it. I blanked on it. We were talking about the How About a Beer Fund or whatever.
Yeah.
And like anybody who contributes to that, then each week we kind of shout out.
Give you a shout out.
A group of people.
Yeah.
Depending on how many people do it and the value that. I'm not saying like, oh hey, give us $100 or anything.
But that would be really cool.
Yeah, that would.
I would not complain.
That would last us a month,
Yeah.
or if we get up to a certain amount,
Yeah.
then we buy something really nice or fancy, and there's always that type of stuff that is unique that you can do in podcasts. And like I did with streaming, like when people contributed to the stream, like I usually end up giving it, or somehow giving back to the community that was the people that were listening to me, or coming into my thing.
Because if you support us, we want to support you as well.
Yeah, because it's greatly appreciated, because it's not like something you have to do.
Yeah.
You're doing that because you're enjoying our content. And this is one of the things I came across when I was streaming. Somebody asked me that, a lot of times streamers and even podcasts, like you're going for the best way to grow is to be focused on something almost specifically.
Yeah.
Or some sort of a niche, right? And I kind of came up with the idea. I'm like, you know what? I almost feel like streaming and podcasting to an extent is virtual bartending.
I could see that. Yeah.
So the idea is that,
connecting with people. And,
and they're coming in.
Yeah.
Or, on the podcast level, they're coming in, listening to our shows, and
giving
then
you money and
then giving you money because
thank you for your time.
Thank you for your time. Yeah. And your service. And, so those are tips and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Right. Just like when we're bartending, people like, hey, really appreciated your time hanging out with you. Here's a little extra or something like that.
Yeah.
And it's always appreciated. And then,
especially when you're the best bartender in Kansas City.
Yeah.
It's really appreciated.
Keep driving that home. Next year it's going to be me.
Well, 2023 is already over. So
yeah,
my time is done. It lasted all of 5 weeks.
Yeah, no shit, right? But we're driving home that tip and stout one though.
Oh, fuck yeah.
For sure.
Yeah.
I mean, some of the other ones we've kind of gotten away from already, but
yeah.
I think best bartender and the best stout is obvious.
Yeah.
I mean, some people drive home because one of the other ones we won for the pitches best of was best bar to meet people.
Yeah, I mean, we see that shit every day.
Still, and I mean, and there's still people that talk about that specifically.
Yeah.
But some of the other ones, people are forgetting about.
Yeah.
And because one of the other ones that I had to remind somebody of was best tap selection.
I forget about that one too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I mean, we won 5, and including best bar staff.
Yeah.
Which is one that we kind of have already been forgetting about because it's just like, all right, we're just doing our job.
Yeah.
So we just move on and do our job.
Yeah.
And the tap selection, well, tap selection is the tap selection. It's always changing.
So we're going to win all 12 or more this year.
We made that joke of we need to really step up our social media game more so than we already do.
Yeah.
But then try to get nominated for social media categories as well to,
Because that's a thing, isn't it? Isn't that one of the categories?
There's a social media category.
Or it was... there
was all
best personality. I'm just like...
Yeah, well, then there's best local YouTube channel.
Yeah.
And it's just okay, come on. I think there was best local TikTok. And it's just...
Fuck out of here. Fucking TikTok.
Where's best Facebook page? Come on.
Yeah, we need that.
Yeah. Because we should definitely win that one, too.
We would absolutely.
Because we do way more on Facebook. I mean, but then a lot of that stuff will go over to Instagram.
Yeah.
As well, because of the way we have it set up, to where it pushes much of that stuff to Instagram already anyway.
Yeah.
So, I think you ready for a beer?
Yeah, I was about to do the.
How about a beer?
There you go.
Yeah,
we should absolutely
I'm
do
ready.
it. So you want to reach down there and grab one of those beers then?
Sure.
Sure. So I went and picked up some beers today. I went down to a local place called Total Wine. I guess Total is not a local place. It's a national brand.
I mean,
but
I really miss Lucas.
Yeah.
I still call it Lucas. It's like, you know.
It's like Sandstone.
It's like Sandstone or Sprint Center.
Yeah.
So this is Villains Never Die. It's a fruited sour ale with raspberry, blueberry, strawberry, and marshmallow.
Yeah, and I thought that was a super cool can, too.
Yeah, that's cool.
And then...
Out of North Haven, Connecticut.
So, yeah, it was super cool. And what was the name of it again? Villains Never Die.
Villains Never Die.
And it's super cool can art. Like, that's something I want to get into because I've been messing more with digital art stuff. And there is one, like, stout-like thing in there, too.
That smells wild.
Because it has, what, marshmallow?
Yeah, marshmallow, raspberry, blueberry. You know, when we went out to Wichita, I had a couple sours that I really enjoyed, and I'm not a sour person.
Well, I know you got to be careful because some sours, people will put lactose into them.
Oh, yeah, I got to be careful with that.
You got to be careful with the lactose.
Yeah.
Because there was one I was looking at, and I'm like, all right.
That's a pretty color.
It is. It's very juicy looking.
Yeah, it looks like a smoothie.
It does look like a smoothie. I feel like maybe there's a little sediment in there.
There's some lanyap in there.
Yeah. And this is the only thing I'm missing is my glass is not very clean. It's been sitting up there for a while.
Just give it an old tap.
Taparoo.
Get those bubbles out.
Yep. Yeah, I can see a little bit of sediment in there.
Yeah.
But maybe they did that on purpose though too. Which for a sour I can see.
Yeah, 100%.
Because I mean, and it's leaving it on the glass.
Yeah.
It is. So it's to the viewers out there.
Both of you.
It has it has for both of us right now.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah. It is very smoothie like.
Yeah.
But like with that raspberry. So yeah, let's. It smells very fruity.
I get the marshmallow.
Yeah, I can smell that marshmallow a little bit. All right, well, cheers, sir.
Cheers.
There you go.
Yeah, we need that sound.
Ding.
Damn. That's tasty.
Yeah, and it's very subtle.
Yeah.
I feel like a lot of the places, sours for a while, they're trying to make
That's
it
really
really
fucking good.
pucker-like.
Yeah,
And I think-
more tart.
Yeah, more tart. And I
Yeah.
think one of the ones that I did buy today is it has like a tart beer.
Cool.
So it'll be
No,
interesting.
I dig that.
And that was one of those things that I wanted. Like I've always said, like everybody talks about the IBUs, right? What does IBU stand for? International Bitterness Unit. It's kind of a gauge on how bitter the beer is going to be.
Yeah.
Even though nowadays you can mask the bitterness when you use the darker malt or you're doing the milkshake IPAs or whatever.
Yeah.
It masks how bitter a beer actually is. And so I think with the sours, I've always said like, it's almost like they need to do some sort of indicator on how sour it is. But I just feel like a lot of
give it time. There will be a sour scale.
I was talking to Nolan about this one time, and he's like, "Oh, it's something like a pH." I'm like, sure, whatever.
Yeah, sure. I guess that's a thing. Yeah.
That's totally a thing, right?
Yeah.
But I feel like a lot of places are starting to dial it back.
Dial back the sour.
Yeah.
Well, they're not as popular. I feel like as they once were.
No, it's definitely starting to wane a little bit, and I know
Yeah.
what the newer trending, depending on when you're listening to this, is the IPLs or cold
IPAs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we'll see how that goes.
I forgot where I was. There's a tap room over in Shawnee, and they had a cold IPA, and I was trying not to be that guy.
I feel like that would probably be service or friction.
It was
Because transport wouldn't do something like that.
District Poorhouse. It was District Poorhouse.
Oh, District Poorhouse. I forgot
Yeah.
they moved over to Shawnee.
Yeah, so it's like right there on like that like southwest corner of Johnson Drive and Neiman.
Yeah.
And she's like, I don't really know what this beer is, but it was, I don't remember what it was either. It was
the server didn't know.
No, she couldn't tell me anything about it other than that it was a cold IPA, and she didn't know what that meant. So I'm just like, well, I'll give you a quick lesson, and try not to be that guy. But
well, that's the thing. Like, people are like, oh, you're a beer snob. I'm like, no, I'm not a snob, because like I have a book. It's called, the Beer Geek Handbook.
Oh yeah,
and it literally like in the first paragraph of it, it talks about the difference between a beer geek and a beer snob.
Yeah.
Where a beer geek is trying to use their knowledge to help educate others.
Yeah.
Where a beer snob then uses their knowledge to show that they know more than everybody else.
Yeah.
So a lot of times, like when we're working, it's like, we're sharing our knowledge to try and help educate others.
Yeah.
Not to just show that like, oh yeah, we know more.
Yeah.
Because we want you to take that knowledge and be able to go somewhere else. And I've prefaced that with a lot of people. I'm like, they learn that they don't like certain styles or they do like certain styles. So I tell them, like, hey, whenever you go somewhere else, if you see something like this, then you would be good. They're like, all right, cool, thank you. Because they're like, yeah, I go to other places and I never know what to order.
Yeah.
Because not a lot of places do like what we do, where we will ask the questions. If you don't like it, we want to know what you don't like, because something you say,
trying to help you.
Something you say may clue me into, or us into, well, here, try this.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Because like a lot of times, like, oh, I don't like stouts. Okay, why don't you like stouts? I'm not trying to call you out for why you don't like stouts. I'm trying to listen to something you may say.
Yeah.
Because like, my ex was always like, I would have her try beers, trying to find something that she enjoyed more consistently. I'm like, okay, what don't you like? It's too beery.
What the fuck does
what
that
does that
even
mean?
What does that even mean?
Yeah. And so, like the time we were together, and I was working at we were still together, and I was at Transparent. And like, I think there was 2 beers that she even really tolerated.
Yeah.
I mean, like, no fault to her. She just wasn't a big beer person. Yeah. But, always trying. And I'd try and help with anybody, really.
Yeah.
So it is what it is. So one of the things I kind of prefaced that I was going to talk about this.
Okay.
But, and, depending on when you listen to this, it's probably way past happening. But I think the topic that I'm going to discuss is very relative. So, the Pro Bowl just recently happened.
Uh-huh.
And they've changed it to where they have these skills challenge things.
Yeah, yeah.
And for some reason, I was looking at the TV screen, and it said dodgeball. But in my head, I saw dodge brawl.
Ooh.
And I'm like, that's an idea right there.
Yeah, I'd watch that.
Dodge brawl.
Yeah.
Because they are doing, best, like 3 rounds or whatever, right? Each round was worth a point, so each team could score up to 3.
I feel like instead of a dodgeball, they should throw footballs at each other.
No, Nerf balls?
No, like
actual footballs. Yeah. But so my idea with dodge brawl was you almost make it like a big, like a enclosed space with walls and stuff.
Yeah.
And just say like, okay, 3 minutes, 5 minutes, whatever, and just you're going. It's almost free for all, right?
So the MMA,
basically,
or
but
UFC or whatever.
But with dodgeballs. I mean,
Yeah.
I've seen this type of stuff with like pillow fighting championship too.
Yeah.
But with the dodgeball, it's like, okay, for something like that, I feel like that would be more entertaining, because then literally, like, you got 5 minutes to just try and get as many points as you can. Whoever has the highest, it's like, when you're doing in Beer Fest, when they're doing the quick quarter game,
Yeah.
Whoever has the most, wins, right? So the idea is like you're trying to hit as many people as you can and get as many points as you can.
Yes.
I mean, you'd have to have a bunch of outsiders kind of like, all right, you're focused on this person and if they are getting hit or not. And then you're hitting points, right? So, I mean, friendly fire is on, right?
Yeah.
But then like, okay, if you catch it, okay, that's 2 points for the other team because you caught that ball.
I was trying to watch some of the what do they call it now? It's like the
skills challenge.
Skills challenge.
Yeah.
And one of them, it was Move the Chains.
And I missed that one. I never got to see that one.
That was the first one I watched, and if I'm being completely honest, I think the concept is dumb as hell. Because they have to like remove a bunch of like 50-pound weights off of this wall that already weighs like 2,000 pounds or something. Mm-hmm. And then they just have to move it 10 yards. But it's like a group of 5.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, what the fuck is this? This is dumb.
I'm kind of glad I missed that one.
Yeah, I think it may have been the start or like right around the beginning of it, but I don't really care about the Pro Bowl.
Yeah. And a lot of people aren't, and that's what they're trying to figure out. And I feel like they're trying to take a page out of NHL's playbook because NHL,
they do it in the middle of the season.
They do it in the middle of the season, and apparently,
every other sport does it in the middle of the season.
MLB, but that's about it. And I guess NBA does.
Yeah.
But
that's kind of sad.
Yeah. Not that it was sad. It was almost like the other sports do, but they don't do as much fanfare as like the NHL does, and that's what people love about the NHL. But they're doing the skills challenge, but the way they incorporate all the skills, people really enjoy it more.
Yeah,
and I think that's what the NFL's trying to do. But it's still the Pro Bowl.
Yeah,
the top people are people going to the Super Bowl are not there.
Yeah,
but I feel like the challenges that they're doing now, like the Pro Bowl game, people in the Super Bowl are out.
Yeah,
but like the other skills challenges, they could still participate in those.
Yeah. Whatever happened to punt, pass, and kick? Do you remember that?
The whole kid thing.
Yeah. The PPK.
They still do it. It's just not as it's not as big as it used to be.
I always wanted to do that.
Yeah, I'm sure they still do it though.
I think I could still be a part of like the kids group. You know,
based off of size.
Yeah.
It's like, you punks are going down.
You fifth grader, you're going down.
Yeah. But yeah, like I thought the dodgeball would be a much better, kind of cooler concept.
Yeah.
That's something that you could grow on just not even Pro Bowl stuff too. Because it would be fun and you could make it absolute shenanigans too.
Are you going to watch the UFL at all?
Probably not.
Yeah. I like the idea of spring football, but that's what I love about the NFL so much is that it is like it's a season of it's a time of the year that I look forward to. Yeah. And I don't want to have football on 12 fucking months of the year.
Yeah.
Because I'm just going to lose interest.
Yeah. I mean, and that's the issue I had. Like when my kids were younger and I was coaching, it's just like it was getting to the point where every sport was all year.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Like when I was younger, the only sport that was all year was soccer.
Yeah.
Because you had, because based off of European soccer, they're playing all but 2 months a year.
Yeah.
And hockey to an extent as well, especially depending on where you're at, ice rinks and whatnot.
Yeah.
But like football was always fall. Baseball was always spring and summer.
Yeah.
But now it's just like everything's all year round. Like NFL stuff. I mean, people are already starting to talk about the draft.
Oh, they've been talking about the draft since week 2, man.
I know. And I'm just like, why?
No one can live in the moment.
Yeah. It baffles me. I mean, I enjoy football, but at the same time, it's like, I could care less about the draft.
Yeah.
People make such a big deal about the draft.
It's because it's a source of revenue and...
Yeah. I mean, and it was here in Kansas City last year. And they did a super cool job.
Last year. That's wild.
I know.
That feels like 5 years ago.
Because the next draft will be what, in March?
April?
April,
I think. Yeah.
I don't know. That's how close I'm paying attention to it. So, but yeah, so that was the whole Pro Bowl thing. Like, that was something like I was sitting there. This is a way better idea, I think.
Yeah, I'd watch that.
Yeah.
I was surprised that it seemed like the stadium was sold out.
Yeah, I was really surprised with that. So maybe that's, I don't know if they're selling the tickets or just trying to fill seats.
Oh, I'm sure you can get them for like next to nothing.
Oh, yeah. But maybe that's an indicator that, hey, they are starting to turn things around.
Yeah.
And that was my other thought. A lot of there's kind of been rumors that, with Jason Kelce retiring, that Travis might retire as well. I think he's got at least one more year in him.
Yeah, I think so.
But I could easily see them replacing the Manning brothers.
Oh, yeah.
And that would be way more entertaining, too.
Yeah.
Like, because the ridiculousness would just be dialed up to 11 between those two. Where the Manning brothers have been good, but they are quarterbacks, and they've been very system-driven.
Yeah.
And they're, like they have fun on the whole Monday night football thing.
The Manning cast.
The Manning cast. It's been fun, but when you compare that to, like, New Heights podcast with Jason and Travis, it's not even the same thing.
I'm having a hard time thinking that this is beer. It just reminds me of a smoothie.
It really,
It's really good.
Because, like, what was the percentage on this thing?
It's only 5.5.
Yeah. I'm going to put the rest in there and see what it's creamy.
Yeah, it is.
Hey-o.
Hey-o.
But again, the can art's super cool too, because they look like almost like two like gnome heads on a brick wall.
Yeah,
like it was painted.
graffiti.
It's graffiti art, but it's like two
Yeah.
gnome heads, and it's super cool. I like that artwork though, and I hope that I can get into something more like that though too. When at first it threw me off, I'm like 12%. I'm like, oh, it says brewed and packaged by 12%.
I'm like, god damn.
I'm like, holy shit. Oh, it says for two villains, so it's contract brew.
Oh, okay.
By 12%. 12% is not the brewery. Two villains is the brewery.
I'd love to cook with this, like reduce it down
Oh yeah, make like
and
a sauce
yeah,
or a dessert.
or even on like I don't know, like a roast or something. I think it'd be good.
Yeah, I agree. I think because it's got a nice
Put
sweet.
some rosemary in there or something.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, that'd be really good.
yeah.
I don't really get a whole bunch of marshmallow
Not on the
flavor.
taste.
Yeah, but it's on the nose.
But maybe the marshmallow, we're not picking up the flavor, but it's helping dull down the bitter, or not the bitterness, but like the tartness.
Yeah, yeah.
So no, because that's super cool though.
That's a good sour.
Yeah. So what else we got to talk about?
I don't know.
You don't know?
No.
All right. Fair enough.
I was gonna say, so I gave myself a haircut today, and I was going for the Gary Oldman. Is it Zorg from Fifth Element?
Oh
It's kind of
yeah.
going for that vibe, you know.
Such a good villain too.
I know. That was better. That was better than the first one.
Yeah.
So he's one of those actors that I didn't know he was English.
Oh
for the
yeah.
longest time.
See, and
Like his American accent is so good.
that's a lot of English actors because they are going to,
Well, they watch, like, there's more like I feel like there's maybe I'm just projecting, but like more classic American movies
yeah,
that are accessible than there are like UK movies.
yeah.
And
I know, like, I've heard certain British actresses talk about, like, because they go to school to be an actor and they study dialects and stuff like that.
Oh,
So,
yeah.
like, European actors are way better at doing American accents than Americans are doing
any
to do
other accent.
any accent.
Yeah.
Yes.
Even in the US.
Yes. Because I mean, like, some of the perfect examples, like, Sons of Anarchy, Charlie Dunham,
Yeah.
he's English.
Yeah.
Colin Firth, English, right?
Yeah.
The Andrew Lincoln and what's the other girl's name from Walking Dead, English, and
It's crazy.
they pull off incredible American accents.
Yeah.
I mean, Andrew Lincoln, who was Rick Grimes, like, he's pulling off like a Southern style accent.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Because he's based, they're based out of Atlanta, Georgia area.
And oh fuck, I never pronounce his first name right. Is it Cillian Murphy? Cillian Murphy?
Yeah.
Yeah. Is he Irish or?
I don't know, but
That
because
sounds like
he
a
was
very
in,
Irish
he
name.
was Scarecrow and Batman.
Yeah.
Like,
And
I thought he
in
was
Oppenheimer.
American.
Yeah, me too.
I mean, I thought Charlie Dunham was, American.
Yeah.
Because the first time I really saw him was Sons of Anarchy, and then I saw him in something else. I'm like, oh, he's doing a British accent. I'm like, not bad. And I like,
Oh shit, that is his
I'm
accent.
like, oh shit, that's his voice.
He's good at that.
Because he was in Pacific Rim as well.
Yeah.
Basically doing
Yeah.
the same voice he, did for. I mean, his American accents are pretty much always the same.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's a good American accent.
Well, have you seen any new movies or anything recently?
What?
Or maybe not new, but something you haven't seen before.
I mean, I know I finally watched Ted Lasso because I've had Apple TV upgraded phone, so I've gone through all of Ted Lasso now.
Yeah.
Super cool show. Something else I've just recently got into, something I used to watch a lot when I was a kid. I don't really ever remember any of the episodes, but they relaunched it, Night Court.
Oh yeah, they did they remade it essentially, right?
Yeah.
With still with what's his name? John Larroquette.
John Larroquette, and he's been great in it.
Yeah.
The show I feel like is a little bit more serious than the original.
Yeah.
But see, like
Just little sneaky burps.
yeah, and that's how I burp. It's just little, boop, little, yeah. Whatever. So I mean, the show's been alright. There's been funny parts to it.
Yeah.
And I mean, a lot of that cast you can't really bring back.
Yeah.
Like they've brought some people in, but like Harry can't. He passed away.
Yeah.
So the way they've played that in is that the new Night Court judge is his daughter.
Yeah.
And so then, like, she brings John Larroquette's character back in as a public defender. And so, like, there's some good stuff. But, like, you looking back at it now as an adult, it's just like, yeah, I don't know how this show lasted as long as it did originally.
Yeah.
And I don't know how long this one's going to last, but, they're trying.
I mean, this is season 2, so...
Yeah, they are on season 2 now.
They got that going for
them. And the
them.
first season, and I think they're probably been a little bit smarter. The first season was only 13 episodes.
Yeah.
And ultimately, like, that's a better plan to do is the 13 episodes. Don't do
Instead
the
of
20.
26, 30. Like,
Yeah.
That's not how network television goes anymore.
No. I mean, and that's where I think, a lot of British television gets that stuff right.
Yeah.
Where they do, well, they don't call them seasons, they call them series.
Yeah.
But they're only doing 6 to 13 episodes.
Yeah.
So it makes people want more. So that's why stuff lasts a lot longer.
Yeah.
Go too. Is because when you're doing 20 plus episodes a season.
I mean, and the fucking writers, I'm sure, get burned out, and
Yeah.
the actors probably get burned out, and that's why I like It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia. They do 10, 12, like, episode-long seasons.
But, I mean, they're trying to cater to the American people that, binge watch so much stuff, and then there's, ad support revenue and all that stuff. So it's just like, that's what we've talked about. Even our own show is like not necessarily doing one every single week.
Yeah.
Like if we do one every 2 weeks or whatever, then fine. And then if we start getting subscribers or whatever, then we do like a special one a month or something.
Yeah.
It's for subscribers.
Well, you don't want to, flood the market. You don't want to give too much good content to people, otherwise.
Yeah. Well, because then it makes it harder for us too, because
Yeah.
it allows us to stretch out what we have, and then be able to get new stuff. Because, like, like the whole dodgeball thing, that was something I just thought of this week and was talking about it in the brewery with people. They were like, I'm like, I should probably write that down. Is that what we could talk about on the show?
Yeah, I wrote down some ideas. Let me see if they're worth a damn. Probably not.
So, this is, I just saw that. I was going to share that too.
I love that.
That is pretty cool as well. So what he just showed me was a picture of, the new beer that that Transparent's getting ready to release. It's going to be called Habitual Deliciousness. It's going to be a pale ale. And we got to try a little bit of it just recently. It's going to be super tasty, So maybe we start pipping out Transparent and we start sending it abroad.
Hey,
Yeah, whatever.
There's a chance.
Saying there's a
This
chance.
is only episode 3.
Yeah. We got a lot of work to do.
Yeah.
So, but I mean, I guess we don't always have to try and fill whole hours or anything.
No,
we can always keep them shorter.
Yeah.
So, on that note, I guess, we'll go ahead and send you guys off. So a little bit shorter episode today.
A little shorter episode.
Or not today, but this time.
This go round.
This go around. But we'll get it figured out. We're, obviously, we've been able to figure out that, we need to change the name. And we know that Poor Decisions is taken because Decisions.
Yeah, no one's going to take that.
Decisions is not spelled correctly.
Yeah. People are going to be very confused. Poor Deshi-shunge?
Yeah.
What the fuck is that?
Yeah. No, that's fine.
It's fine.
It's fine.
We'll let them torture it. I mean, or not torture it, but butcher it.
Butcher it? Yeah. No, perfectly fine. Because then, you know what? They're not going to forget the podcast.
Well, I butchered the word in the first place. So
yeah, you were trying to say decision. Decisions.
Here we are.
So yeah. So thank you, everybody. We will see you guys next time, or talk to you next time.
Yeah. Thanks for listening, guys, and stay tuned.
All right. You want to hit the button?
Which one?
The